Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Morgan Hill Farms. So I have 4 beds of garlic here that I need to get out of the ground. I planted 3 of these beds in early November, and the 4th bed I planted in late November. I'm not sure if that's going to be 100% ready yet, but 3 of my beds definitely are. I've got to get these things out of the ground, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what to look for when you are getting ready to harvest your garlic and how you want to cure that so that they will last until the next season. And then you can replant those really big cloves and you can eat everything else during the year.
So I think garlic is probably one of the easiest beginner crops to grow. It may seem intimidating at first, but it really doesn't have any pests. And once you plant it in the winter, you're just going to kind of forget about it until it's ready to harvest in June or early July. So I am in the upstate of South Carolina, Zone 8A, and you're going to want to plant your garlic a few weeks after your first killing frost going into the winter season. But really, garlic's pretty forgiving. I planted most of my beds in November, and then a last bed I went ahead and planted in the end of November, even early December. So really, you have a lot of time and a lot of flexibility, and it's really nice because that is the season when there's nothing else in the garden, so you're not overwhelmed with other things at that point. So during the winter time is when the roots of the garlic are going to develop, and then going into the springtime, the energy from those roots are going to go up into producing the leaves and then your bulb. Now there's 2 types of garlic. One is called hardneck and one is called softneck. So I'm growing hardneck here. And the nice thing about the hardneck varieties is that it produces a stiff center stalk known as a scape. Now when you see that scape come up and you're going to see a little flower bulb on the very end of it, you're going to want to harvest that off. And that's going to direct the energy from the plant to producing a large bulb as opposed to producing that flower on the end of that scape. Now your soft neck varieties are not going to produce that stiff center stalk that we call a scape, but once you dry your soft necked garlic, you will be able to braid that for storage for the coming winter. And so that's sort of a benefit of your soft neck variety. Because the hard neck has that center stalk, you cannot braid them. It's just too difficult. They do say that soft neck garlic stores much longer than your hard neck garlic. They say that it stores up to a year and that your hard neck only stores for 3 to 4 months. However, my hard neck garlic lasts me a full year. So if you want to know when to harvest your garlic, you're going to look at the bottom leaves and you're going to count up 4 leaves. And if the bottom 3 leaves are completely brown and that 4th leaf is starting to brown, that's when you know that your garlic is ready to pull. If you wait too long and you have your 5th and 6th and 7th leaf that have already browned, you're going to pull that garlic and you're going to find that that paper wrapper is actually starting to disintegrate and the cloves of garlic in that head have become exposed. That garlic head is no longer going to be able to store for you very well. But you can take that and go ahead and separate the cloves out, and you can dice those up and put them in some olive oil and freeze them that way to use in your recipes, or you could even dehydrate those and make a garlic powder. This is the one that you really want to see when you pull it out. You want to see a nice paper wrapper all the way around that bulb, and you don't want to see any exposed cloves at all. This one's going to store for you very, very well. So I had to call Vincent down to help me bring up all of this garlic. I just couldn't get it in one load. Once we get it up to the house, we're gonna lay it out in the sun for just a little while, just so that any of that wet dirt has the opportunity to dry. Then from there, I'm gonna take my gloved hand, or I might even take a dried cotton towel and just sort of gently wipe off any existing dirt that's there. You don't have to be too meticulous about this, but I'm gonna be putting these on my front porch and I really don't wanna drag up a ton of dirt. You do wanna be careful that you don't wipe off any of that paper wrapper and expose any of your cloves though. So ideally, when you cure your garlic, you're gonna wanna put it in a well-ventilated area that doesn't get any direct sunlight. However, this is where I choose to do mine. I just don't have the space for this amount of garlic in my garage or really anywhere else. So I put it on my front porch, and from about 2 in the afternoon till the time that the sun sets, my porch does get direct sunlight. But this has not affected the curing of my garlic. My garlic still lasts as long as I need it to. Like I said earlier, it will last me up to a year. So this is just the best option that I have. And so if you don't have the perfect option, that is okay. You just do the best that you can. And you can see here as I'm laying them out, I'm kind of staggering them to give myself a little bit extra room here, but I don't want to really pile them on top of one another because I do want them to dry out. And I'm gonna leave them here for, I don't know, maybe about a week or so until all of those leaves have really browned. And here you can see we're about a week later and everything is super brown, and these guys are ready to be brought inside the house at this point. So the way that I bring them in the house, I'm not quite ready to cut those stalks off yet. I want to make sure that they are 100% dry. But what I do is I just take some cord and I'm grouping them in groups of 10 to 13 or so. And I'm going to go ahead and tie those really tight and make really nice bunches with these. And then I'm going to get them into the house. And here they are all bunched up. There is quite a bit of garlic that we got this year, and we got a lot of really nice size heads, which is really important because those are the ones that you want to plant for next year. So I'll be looking for the largest heads with the largest cloves, and I'm going to put those aside to plant this coming November. So once I get them inside, I have my grow rack still set up from early spring when I started all of my seeds. And I'm just gonna take those strings, and I left a long tail on those, and I'm going to hang those. And I'll probably leave these here for a good month or so until I need this shelf to start my fall plants. And these guys, once that month passes, they are going to be ready for me to put them into long-term storage. And the way that I do that is I take some scissors, I will cut off the end of the roots, leaving about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of root, and about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of the very top. I will also leave when I cut off that hard center stalk there. And they'll be ready to store in my closet for the rest of the season.
All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I hope that it shows you that you don't have to have the complete ideal situation in order to cure your garlic, or you could even do this for your onions. This is where I will cure my onions this year as well. So guys, don't let things hold you back if you don't have the perfect conditions. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.